Hey there, this is just a quick video to explain to you a little bit more about what we do and how the program works. We're going to be a little bit vague on a few things because a lot of what we do is proprietary and we don't want people who aren't paying clients to see exactly what we're doing because some of it can be quote unquote borrowed to use for generic Facebook campaigns and whatnot. So if it seems like we're being a little bit vague on a few things, that's why. So let's get right into it. So how do we identify, first of all, who to advertise to? So we have over 470 data providers, both paid and partners, that we get data from. And then we use a proprietary algorithm to, compile that data together. And what we do basically is track the online behavior daily for over 225 million people in the USA. People being the operative word. We actually know the actual person and their full contact information. And then what we do is we monitor their behavior and we determine what it is related to. From there, we can determine that they are looking for their next or first loan solution based on a large number of behaviors over a short period of time. So large number of behaviors over a short period of time. That means that there is irrefutable proof that they're currently on the internet looking for some type of a loan solution. So now we know that they're interested. So how do we advertise to them? So what we can do is we can target them directly. What we do is we load their encrypted email address into the ad platforms that we choose to use to market to them. What's important there is it's an encrypted email address. So we know who the people are, but the information is still private because actually all we're using is their encrypted email address. We then ask the ad platform for an audience of the people that look like the audience that we just loaded. So we basically run ads to two audiences, the list of people that we know are interested, and then a list of people that look like that audience based on the ad platform. And that's actually a really powerful piece of the puzzle. And then from there, what we do is we run ads to both sets of those audiences, offering them a loan solution. So how do those people then become leads? So they see the ad, they click on the ad, they go to a landing page. On that landing page, they fill in a 9-question survey, and then they press submit. After they press submit, they receive an automated follow-up system or an automated follow-up with a voicemail, a text message, and an email. The voicemail goes direct to their voicemail. It doesn't ring their phone, so it actually looks like they missed a call. We are able to do that because of the fact that they provided all of their information in that questionnaire and they press submit. So we're totally compliant there. So how does the automated follow-up work? Within 5 minutes of submitting the survey, they receive a voicemail, text, and an email. The sole purpose is to get them to reply back with one of those mediums to express interest again. So they've expressed interest twice. They've filled out the form and they've replied to the automated sequence so that you are only following up with real people ready to talk to you. If they respond to any of the outreach in the automated campaign, the automation stops. So they're not getting bothered over and over again once they've replied to any of those. So that means they may have phoned the number that the voicemail is associated with, they've texted, or they've emailed back. As soon as they do one of those actions, the follow-up stops. What happens next? The loan officer named in the system gets the response direct to them and takes over. It's that simple. So direct to them means it either goes to their phone number from the voicemail, they receive a text message back to their phone, or they receive an email directly back to them. So all the responses go directly to that loan officer that's named in the system, and they take over. Responses are all tracked in the system, so you can see the full audit trail of all the responses. So here is the actual process as an example. So the next few slides will walk you through samples of what the process looks like. So as I was saying earlier, these may not be samples of the campaigns we launch for your company, but should give you an idea of the overall concept and process. So we're constantly testing and updating everything that we do. And so some of the ads and landing page examples that we show here, we're probably not using anymore, but they've worked in the past and they're very similar to what we would be using going forward. So here's an example of an ad that will be shown to an in-market lead. So this one specifically calls out teachers and it offers a special program for teachers. Here's another example of an ad that's actually targeting first responders and it has a, it suggests a special offer to first responders. Here's an example of a landing page that will appear after they click the ad. So this goes back to the teacher example. So you can see there's actually not a lot to the landing page. It's literally a logo, which is generic, and then, announcing a special program, and then it gets right into the survey. What you can't see here is in the footer, there's actually your NMLS number and a privacy policy, and that's it. So it's very generic. Again, we test things all the time, and the generic stuff and very plain like this is actually what seems to work the best, and so that's what we're using right now. So here are the current survey questions that we are we're asking and capturing as data, and these are actually the questions that we're using right now. I'm not going to go through them all. I'll include these slides as an email or a PDF in the email included with this video. So the end of the survey basically asks for their name, their phone number, and their email address. So they're providing that information, so we're totally compliant to follow up with them after. And then after they push submit, when they provide their personal information, they'll get this thank you page. You can see it's redacted. So, city, teachers, reducing the cost of buying and selling, refinancing your home. You have been assigned a local licensed housing specialists, and then it actually will provide, it'll list the company name, and then the team you have agreed to put together an exclusive package for you will hear from, and then the name of the loan officer that's named shortly. And then it'll have the loan officer name, the company name, MNLS, and then privacy policy. All right, so here's an example of the automated follow-up sequence. We actually are not going to show you the full sequence and the messages, more just a teaser, because again, this is proprietary to us. So you can see this happens within 5 minutes after they opt in. So after they submit the lead form, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So they get a voicemail, text message, and an email. And then the next day they get a text. Day 2, they get a voicemail and an email. Day 3, a text message. Here's an example of the first email that they get. The questions that we actually ask, we've redacted them because they're proprietary again. So you can see that, there's a bit of detail to what we send, and then we ask some specific questions that tend to elicit a good response rate. And then on day 4 and 5, we drop another text message and another voicemail. Again, once you start working with us, you can review these in detail and make any, additional tweaks that you need to make. So what happens next? So now we've figured out who is interested in getting a loan. We've run ads to them. They've clicked the ad. They've filled out a survey. They've received an automated survey follow-up, and they've raised their hand for a second time. What happens next? So after there's one of two things that can happen. After day 5 of the follow-up campaign, we can work with you to add more, or we hand the leads off to your CRM for long-term follow-up. If they've responded, the loan officer already has that in their pipeline, and they're following up with them with their own process. I hope this has been helpful, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and we're happy to answer them for you.